Ah yes, you are welcome back. Okay, let us go in KASPA. KASPA, KAS, is trading at $0.077673 today. That figure alone tells a story. The token, once whispered about in niche corners of the crypto community, is now sitting on a fragile support line that could either catapult it upward or drag it into the familiar valley of volatility as a never-ending carnival. Today's number is more than in Asia, particularly China and India. In KASPA's evolving volume and accessibility. Market observers have noted that intraday strong liquidity and survived the ruthless test of trading volume. It could, while lows dipped to $0.074131, a spread that highlights the ongoing battle between bulls and bears. Traders in European markets describe the current action as restless consolidation, while U.S. watchers are calling it a pause before decision. Technical pulse. Chart analysis paints KASPA's situation in two colors. On one side, the moving averages cluster tightly near $0.076, $0.078, forming what analysts call a tension zone. Break above $0.081, and the momentum could trigger short-term bullish confidence. Slide below $0.073, and the conversation shifts toward a pullback that may test $0.065 in the coming days. Volume is another whisper in the room. A moderate but steady flow suggests traders are watching rather than rushing. This signals caution, no frenzy, but no abandonment either. Forecast scenarios. Bullish outlook. Should KASPA pierce resistance at $0.081 and hold? Analysts see a path toward 9 cents, possibly touching 10 cents if sentiment aligns with broader market optimism. Bearish outlook. A breakdown under $0.073 could send KAS searching for firmer ground, with $0.065 as the first safety net. Neutral base case. Most traders expect sideways movement in the $0.075, $0.080 range until stronger signals emerge from Bitcoin or macroeconomic news. Long-term lens. Looking beyond the daily fluctuations, projections stretch into both cautious and ambitious territory. Conservative growth models project KASPA edging toward 11 to 12 cents by 2030, assuming modest annual increases. Meanwhile, bullish analysts insist KASPA's architecture, its blockDAG protocol and scaling potential, could justify valuations several times higher if adoption accelerates. This divergence of opinion is classic in crypto journalism. One analyst warns of a slow grind, another dreams of a rocket launch. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in the unpredictable middle. Closing thought. KASPA's current price of $0.077673 is not simply a static number. It's a mirror reflecting both hope and hesitation. Traders, investors, and curious onlookers will continue to circle it, asking the same question. Is this the calm before a breakout, or the silence before a slide? Like all markets, KASPA thrives on uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, today's price becomes tomorrow's headline. The final word, KASPA's price and the road ahead. The ticker still reads $0.0776673, and somehow that number now feels heavier than when we first mentioned it. Over the past hours, it has danced between highs of $0.078418 and lows of $0.074131. Like a restless performer on a stage too small for its energy. For the average trader, this movement looks ordinary, another day in the life of crypto. But for those watching KASPA closely, this tiny range speaks volumes about the coin's silent struggle between stability and ambition. The question every reader wants answered is simple. Where does KASPA go from here? Yet the answer is anything but simple. Forecasts compete for attention. Some whisper of cautious growth, a slow climb toward 11 cents by the end of the decade. Others sketch visions of a breakout, with KASPA one day rewriting the narrative of scalable proof-of-work systems. Between these two extremes lies the messy middle. Uncertainty, hesitation, hope, and doubt all wrapped into one. That is the nature of markets. Numbers don't just tell us what has happened. They hint at what people believe might happen. And right now, KASPA's believers are split into two camps. The cautious remind us that crypto winters are always around the corner, waiting to cool overheated optimism. The bold insist that KASPA's unique technology will carve a space no other project has quite claimed. Both sides, however, agree on one truth. At $0.077673, the token is alive, relevant, and worth watching. Zoom out for a moment. A decade ago, Bitcoin hovered below $100, ridiculed by mainstream analysts. Ethereum's early price action was dismissed as speculative noise. Today, both stand as pillars of the digital economy. KASPA is nowhere near those levels of adoption, but its supporters argue that the structural advantage of its blockDAG protocol could one day prove equally transformative. If history teaches us anything, it is this: never underestimate a technology that solves real problems, no matter how small its price tag appears in the present. But let's temper the excitement. Predictions, no matter how elegant, can collapse overnight under the weight of global events. A regulatory crackdown in Europe, a shift in U.S. monetary policy, a sudden loss of investor appetite. Any of these could drag KASPA well below today's comfort zone. Likewise, a sudden rally in Bitcoin or an unexpected burst of adoption in decentralized applications could push KAS far beyond the cautious 10 cents mark. In other words, the market does not move on logic alone. It moves on a mix of mathematics, psychology, and sometimes sheer luck. This duality is what makes KASPA fascinating. On one hand, it is a highly technical project, beloved by miners and blockchain purists for its elegant design. On the other, it is a speculative asset, traded by people who may never read a single line of its white paper. That split identity, part technology, part gamble, makes it both risky and full of potential. The present price of $0.077673 is not a verdict. It is a pause in an unfinished sentence. So, how do we close this story today? Perhaps by admitting that closure is impossible.